Welcome back. It is 1675. In the last one, lots of things happened. Canon Chet and Charity both got married to their respective partners. Tom learned the truth about Sadie. Muriel has been killed in a bid to cause a war, and it is working. So we are going to have the war today, King Philip's War. I don't remember historically why it happened, but I'm telling you why. It's because Humphrey and Muriel and all this drama has caused it. So we have to do that, but in just a second. So first we're going to do our rolls for birthdays. We have Mary Dubois, no 4, 8, or 17. And then we have, oh, I lost my place. Okay, Gideon and Phineas, no 7 or 14, and we are not going to roll. So, okay, so Gideon and then Phineas we're not going to roll for until, I think someone made a good point, is what we did with, shoot, who was the other sim? The other sim that we reincarnated, we didn't roll for her birthday rolls until the roll that she failed, and so we're going to do that again. We're going to let him become a young adult, but Massasoit, no 7 or 14 as well. And then will Gideon get married? He will. Will Massasoit get married? No. Okay. Gideon. Okay. And then Sadie, no 2, 6, 11, or 15. Edmund, at least a 9. Only the good die young. Bernard is dying this year. And then Josiah needs to know how much longer. 5 more years. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Josiah. What was he Waldrick? Josiah Waldrick? No, Hobart. I guess I was wrong there. Waldrick. Okay. And then for the townies. Okay. Birthdays. Okay, we have 2 young adult birthdays. Thaddeus and Timothy. Oh gosh. I love you both. Don't do this to me. No 3, 9, or 20. That was close. Okay. So far everyone's surviving, which is good because they're all going to die in the war. Okay, a D4. If they roll a 1 on a D4, they die. So let's just go around. We'll start over here. Tom, I know he's an elder, but I feel like he would do it. And Cameron, and thanks. So, ooh, actually, you know what? Let's let Tom die. And I'm saying that because we're running out of room in that household, so just saying. Okay, hold on. I gotta put this over here. This is, what war is this? King Philip's War. 1675. Okay, sorry, Tom. You're a victim of my whims. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, everyone else survives in that household except for Tom. Tom Anderson. Oh, I feel kind of bad. I was going to have him and Sadie sort of figure something out eventually, but well. Okay, Obadiah is the only one here. We're not going to roll for our boys, even though they're becoming teens this year. He survives. Josiah survives. Let's go over here. We have Pullman and Ninigret. And then here we have Canon Chet. That would have been awful if he died right after he got married. Here we have Obadiah, not Obadiah, whatever your name is. We have Thomas. We have Edmund, second chance. Oh. And none of the Johnsons. Amos. Wow, okay, nobody else is going to die. We have Nathaniel and Wamsuda. Wamsuda. Well, that's unfortunate. We have Bernard is already dying this year. There's no point in rolling for him. And then we have Uncas. Okay. And then last but not least, in the Smith family, we have Nathaniel, Thaddeus, and Timothy. Okay, only 2 deaths. Well, good for us. Let's hop into the game. All right, so we are here in our main household and we are having the boys do the chores because, again, they have to learn how to do these things in order to be able to take care of themselves now that Obadiah and the other kids are going to be leaving them this year. He wants to move closer to his family, and he never really considered the twins like his kids, and so he is letting them keep the house and everything, but they are on their own. So we are going to have the boys doing the chores, mopping the floors, cleaning the dishes. They're doing everything because they're going to have to do everything in the future. And so that is something that they are focused on. Then we're going to have Obadiah bake the cake and age them up. So here he comes to bake that cake. And we will get the birthday thing going. So I am excited that the boys are going to be teens now. We are definitely going to be focusing a lot. Please don't start a fire. There's always a fire. We're going to be focusing a lot more on them and their stories now that they're becoming teenagers. And I'm just really, I want to get to the point. I don't know if this is going to happen. So, bear with me. But I want to get to the point where all of the stories we're following are back in our main household. So, like, I want, Phineas or Gideon to have a lot of children, and then through having a lot of children, be able to, we'll follow a bunch of different stories in those children. So, like, if they have at least 6 children, that gives us 6 stories to follow, and kind of what we used to do back in the day when we were still living in England and everything. So we used to do kind of that, as we'd have like the kids or the stepkids, and they'd all have their own stories and stuff. That was before we went to playing, a bunch of different stories throughout the world, which I really am enjoying. But I think that as we get further on in the time period, I think, we've been playing this for many, many sim years, right? We've been playing this for many real life years too. And so, my gameplay style and the things that I like to do change over time. We used to play in only one household. We started to get more and more stories. Then we started to expand to the world. And now I think, within the next generation, I want to focus more on the immediate family again. So, of course, we'll see what happens if he even has kids that survive. But that is something that I am hoping to do. And we'll see. We'll see what happens. Okay, and then also both of them rolled to be mean, actually, and I think that that's actually a fair assessment, because they've grown up very in a difficult time. Like they've grown up with Obadiah, who doesn't really consider himself their father. They didn't have their mother. They don't have a relationship with their father. Lydia passed away. Like, it kind of makes sense that they'd kind of have attitude issues. But yeah, they both rolled to be mean, which is really going to be interesting. I know a lot of you back when Sarah was alive were like, oh, it would be so much fun to have a messy heir again. And you know what? You're right. So let's make this messy. Let's make this messy. So I'm excited about that. And I also think that, like, Phineas is definitely going to, like, hyper fixate on the apothecary stuff. I think that he is going to really, like, he's starting to get into the herbs and the plants right now, and then, it'll grow into the apothecary stuff as he kind of remembers that love he has for, healing people and helping people. Also, we have a baby being born. That's Aelin Waldrick has been born, and she survives. But yeah, I think Phineas, as he starts to remember, or not remember his past life, but like has these feelings, has these intuition type things, like, oh, I think I like that. I think I want to do that. I want to be a part of that. So we'll see what happens over time. And yeah, so he is just cleaning up the garden a little bit because I was looking up what herbs and plants and stuff we need for the apothecary skill. Obviously, he can't do a ton with it until he ages up into a young adult, but we can start doing stuff with it now and get him working on that. And then, yeah, I was trying to find some of this stuff, but we are going to have to, I think, go to Henford on Bagley and go to the stalls and buy some things there. So that's what we're going to need to do in order to get what we need for this, because we do not have everything that we need according to the Sims Wiki. So yeah, he is focused on this. He's focused on his, plants and all of that. We are going to start to do relationship stuff soon enough, so don't you worry about that. But for right now, he's enjoying this. And then Gideon, on the other hand, is actually starting to do woodworking. We had the woodworking table upstairs. He is interested in that, and honestly, it's just kind of a means to an end for him. I think Gideon is definitely the more ambitious of the two, and he wants to do woodworking because he thinks he can make some quick cash and then be able to send himself to college. So he wants to go to college, and he wants to be able to, move up. He wants to make it big. He has big plans for his future, and this is how he's going to do it. He's going to start woodworking, save some money, be able to go to college, and then with that, he will be able to change his life and get a high up position and everything. So he's really trying on that, and I think we'll have him like kind of join the ministry or like become a pastor or something. That was like a really big deal back then, and they could marry and everything. So we're gonna work on that. And I'm trying to decide, you guys let me know what you think. I'm trying to decide if we should have Gideon do the original rules for Morbid Gamer. Like, should he have 10 baby rolls? Like, I wonder if he should, because of the situation where these two are kind of our two Sims, and we only have two Sims. And so if anything were to happen to Phineas, or Phineas's children, then Gideon and Gideon's children would be our backup. So I don't know if we should try to make sure. Maybe we just won't let him have 0 babies. Maybe we'll make sure he has at least a few. I don't know. We'll see. Let me know what you think about that. I am a little worried about us only having 2 Sims. Although if I go to the spreadsheet, where is it? Where is my spreadsheet? Just scrolling through everything. Here it is. What events are coming up? Okay. In 1687, the measles are coming around, but that doesn't affect fully grown men. In 1692 is the witch trials, and that is the last. That's the last thing before we head into the 1700s, which is like a new set of rules from Morbid. So, oh my gosh, we're still far away. We're still 25 years away, but like still, it's pretty exciting, isn't it? I mean. I love reaching new like sections of time in this because we've been playing Puritans since like 1600 or something. We've been playing it for quite some time, so it's going to be fun to change it up a little bit and figure things out. But anyway, we are headed over to the Waldrick household because Pullman and Ruth need to finally get married. They're getting married. Ruth definitely likes Pullman more than Pullman likes Ruth, and I think that that'll come back into play later. Oh, look, a fairy. I did download. So I finally got Enchanted by Nature. Like just now for this video, I got Enchanted by Nature, and the reason for that is because of the apothecary stuff. But yeah, so we finally did that, and we're gonna see where we go from there. But I'm really excited about it, and yeah, it's a new thing for me. I haven't played with it at all yet. You're seeing me play with my game with it for the first time, and honestly, we aren't really using it at all, so that's fine. But yes, so Pullman and Ruth are now married. They are both excited to be, here and being, starting their own families and stuff. So Pullman is excited about that. But yeah, he definitely kind of was still scoping out his options until the last minute. But fortunately for Ruth, there's no one else in this save file. We are very low on women for the save file. Okay, so the next thing is that Uncas is actually going to pull aside Pullman and Canon Chet, and he's going to pull them aside and he's going to talk to them because he's going to be like, look, I have no intentions of remarrying. I had the love of my life and I lost her and I lost my child and it's all really, really bad. But he's like, I have no intentions of remarrying, but I still need to pick like an heir because so Uncas is now the leader of their tribe, and so he is looking for who he's going to pass things along to himself, and he wants to start training them and stuff. And so while Pullman is the eldest son, because Canonchet is married to Uncas's sister, Melly, technically it's still like his bloodline that's going to be, in the future. And so he wants it to kind of stay within his family. So he is going to say like, Canonchet, I'm going to train you to take over for me when I pass. And so honestly, like, that's the best combination because it's both families and they're both children. How do I say? Canonchet and Melly's children will be of both families and then they will pass it on. But of course, it's kind of hard for Pullman to hear that kind of stuff because, he is the eldest son in his family and he's always seen Canonchet as his little brother that he has to take care of and he's responsible for. And now Canonchet is going to be kind of a higher rank than him. So that makes things a little more difficult. And so that is something that they're going to need to contend with in the future. And so now we were going over to here. I do need to get the war stuff out of the way. I don't really play the wars really. I just kill the Sims. I don't really know how to play the wars because I know that some people have like, little areas that they send the Sims to and everything, but it's just kind of like, I don't know. I didn't feel like setting something up for it. So anyway, Tom and Wamsuda have passed away from the war that Humphrey ended up starting by killing Muriel and then blaming it on the Native Americans to cause his like settlement to start the war, and our settlement ended up, siding with the Native Americans. Amos eventually kind of said like it was Humphrey who killed her, but of course no one in Humphrey's settlement is going to believe that. So, we just kind of had to all fight, and unfortunately Tom and Wansuda passed, and the fighting ended, the war ended with our victory, of course. Otherwise we would be in a much worse spot. So yeah, and then we are here, and Cameron is just so sad after his father passing and everything, and he just feels like it's such like a not disappointment, what's the word? It's like a shame that Sadie has kind of been ostracized by their family for so long and not really been able to be a part of the family. And Tom never told Cameron the truth about Sadie's children or anything. And so Cameron doesn't think that Sadie's really done anything wrong. She married who she was supposed to. She had kids like she was supposed to. And so Cameron is like, look, come home. Come home, spend time with our family. Our father has died. You missed out on reconciling with him, but our mother is old. Like, my daughter should get to know her aunt, like all this stuff where he's like, Sadie, I really want you to be back in the family. And so that is something that Cameron really wanted, is that he wants his sister to be back. So they are kind of reconciling here. Of course, he doesn't know, again, the situation with the children, but that's okay. And so, Charity, I was trying to remember her name, Charity, she definitely, is excited to talk to her aunt and everything and get to know her. And so she's really happy about that. So everyone is doing pretty good in this household, and they're all very happy that they're together again. That's it for them, really. I'm starting to feel guilty again about the sound quality of my videos lately. Believe me when I tell you I wish my housing situation would get resolved. It's like I don't want to like go into details, that's not necessary, but like I just want to live in my own space. I want to live in my own space and be able to, shout into the microphone about Sims. But I can't right now, so that's okay. Everything's okay. We're going to get there eventually. We're going to go to the Johnson household now, and we are here with them. And so Bridget and she's going to bring Meredith along to go and visit the Smith family, to go visit Thaddeus and everything. So they are going to all come over here, and because Bridget and Thaddeus are best friends, and Meredith wanted to get out of the house, so she decided to, come along. And so they are here together. I did not want the youngest kids to come. You should go back to school. But yeah, so they're here together, and they're just chatting, and Bridget is introducing Meredith to Thaddeus and to Timothy, and just her friends and stuff. And so they're all just kind of hanging out, having a good time. This house is a lot nicer than their house. And then you can see Bridget has a big crush on Thaddeus right now. And I think she's starting to wonder why he hasn't made a move yet, right? Like, why hasn't he made a move? They're best friends. They spend so much time together. Why isn't he, trying to court her? Why isn't he trying to ask her out? So she is definitely wondering about that. And meanwhile, we just have Chenua here, Nathaniel and Chenua, and Chenua knows that Nathaniel has like hit on Bridget in the past, and she kind of comes up to Bridget and she's like, back off, like you don't need to be around Nathaniel. Why do you keep coming over here? Blah blah blah. And Bridget is like, I'm here to hang out with Thaddeus. Like, you're weird. You're weird. Nobody wants Nathaniel. He's gross. Um, so yeah, basically, Chenua is kind of, you know, being territorial, especially after Silence coming in and everything. And she knows that Nathaniel does want more kids and stuff, and she can't really give that to him. So she's definitely struggling to maintain his attention. And then Bridget is, Thaddeus comes and kind of like pulls her aside and is like, I'm so sorry. Like, I know that my family situation is so dysfunctional. Like, I'm sorry about that and everything. And he's actually feeling flirty, and she is feeling flirty. And so it's like, okay, well, she's feeling flirty. She like not makes a move, but she just like flirts subtly a bit, like just a few little comments here and there, with neither of them really acknowledging that it's flirting at this point. But, slow and steady wins the race, right? So there's that. And then also we have Meredith, who's just kind of been left like alone in the house with everybody else, and is just getting to know Timothy a little bit more. Now, remember, Meredith is, um, you know, basically being courted by Amos, but especially now with Muriel dead and everything, she's not married to the idea, I guess we'll say. But yeah, so she's just chilling. She's getting to know some people. Wouldn't hurt to have a younger man, but she also doesn't want to. She doesn't. Timothy is like the second son, right? So she's kind of like, I don't know if he's gonna have anything that I want, right? So that is definitely something that they are struggling with, but we are going to head out again, and we are going to go see Thanks again. I should have just done this while I was with their household, but I forgot. So Thanks has had, his marriage with Charity for a while now. She is pregnant with their first child, and so he actually is going to ask her if they can go out and do some stuff. So he feels really guilty about not taking care of Mary. That's his daughter with Trinity, and he feels really bad that he is such a deadbeat, and like that he did, do all this stuff, and he didn't tell anyone about the baby, and he didn't do that because he did want to be able to marry Charity. He didn't want to, have the engagement broken because of his behavior and everything, and he doesn't even know why he did that. Of course it was a spell, we know. So he invites Trinity out and Charity out, and Trinity is very confused as to why she is here. But he's basically going to talk to Trinity and Charity and basically tell Charity, like, look, Trinity and I used to see each other. Like, we were really close. We are really good friends. We were really, romantic. And before you and I, and he kind of doesn't really say that he just switched over because he was told to or because of the power. But he basically says to Charity, we made a mistake before, and, her daughter is my daughter. And so he's telling her this, and Charity is shocked, right? Like, she is super shocked. She doesn't understand at first. Like, she doesn't understand why he would keep this from her, why, they would do this. Why didn't they just get married? All this stuff. And Thanks talks about how he loves Charity, he loves their relationship with each other, and of course, some weird things are happening at this table right now where different people are flirting with each other and ruining each other's relationship. But anyway, so he talks about, I think that, like, Trinity is flirting with Charity right now. But yeah, so they talk about it, and basically, Thanks is like, look, I want to do the honorable thing and make sure that Mary is and Trinity are taken care of, because it's, it was my responsibility. And so Charity is obviously for that, because Charity, and her family really believe in honor. And, it would be really bad if he did not take care of his child. So Charity is for that. But of course, she wants to get to know Trinity better. She wants to get to know her a little better and kind of figure out exactly what the deal is here. And she doesn't want Trinity to, steal her husband or anything. So anyway, birthdays. I think we're doing birthdays now. I want to say we are. Yeah. Okay. So Mary Dubois is becoming a toddler. Gideon Hobart is becoming a teenager. Phineas Hobart is becoming a teenager. Massasoit Waldrick is becoming a teenager. Bernard Dubois passed away. Thaddeus Smith became a young adult. Timothy Smith became a young adult. Tom Anderson died in the war. Wamsuda Harper died in the war. Alice Johnson became a teenager. And Aylin Waldrick became an infant. So she was born and became an infant. So those are all of the birthdays for today. Next year, what is going on next year? Oh, Charity gave birth at the very end of this to a daughter, and they named her Elizabeth after Charity's mother. But I think that's it. There's not really very many exciting birthdays next year or anything, so we're in good shape. I hope you guys enjoyed this part, and we will continue. There will be much more drama regarding Gideon and Phineas in the future, so I'm really excited to get their stories actually going. So I hope you are too, and I'll catch you in the next one.